Confusing motion for action today on the Daily Ish Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Ish Show, a show not just for rental housing providers, but anybody looking to get a little bit more time freedom in your calendar, a little bit more white space on your calendar. Welcome to the show. It is really good to see you. And you know what? For God's sake, if you're watching the show, and I know if you're watching the show, and I know there's a lot of people out there who watch the show, and I know this, and surprises me because I'm like, oh, you're the one person who watches the show. And I know you're out there seeing the show and you come up to me after the fact. You're like, oh man, I love your show. And I literally say like, oh, well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. I never see you like it or comment it or anything. Like, no, I never really say anything. For God's sake, just throw a brother a bone and just click the little like button. That would be amazing. Just sometimes I feel like I'm hollering it into an empty well, and then I'll go to some event somewhere and they're like, oh, I watch your show all the time. I'm like, really? Because this can be a long, lonely ass road. Sometimes I feel like there's no one else watching out there. No, that's not true. I know, and to be fair, it's kind of funny because I really try not to take myself that seriously on this show. So sometimes I'll see like 10 people sign on and then they sign off immediately, and I'm like, ugh, right? Try not to take that personally. But the reason why I actually do this is because I do go and I actually speak publicly to lots of different landlord associations and RIA groups and so forth. But I don't do it that often. I don't do it like every week. So this actually helps me stay sharp because I'm doing it in front of a live audience. So I can't get out and talk myself into a verbal knot and not be able to walk myself back from it. So this actually does help me, the fact that I'm doing it. And I actually do enjoy this. I actually do enjoy putting together the stuff. But anyway, so if you're out there, help me out. Just like the damn video. Unless you don't like it. If you don't like it, then click the button twice just to or whatever. I don't really care. Anyway, so what were we talking about today? Confusing motion for action. And this is something that I was actually thinking about it last week. That was really, really. Last week was just such an emotional week. Last week, prior to Mother's Day, I lost my mom. My mom went to God, and honestly, I can't think of a more amazing way for a woman who was just love. That's what she was. Many people were reaching out, and my mom had struggled with Alzheimer's for years. And I did get to see her a few weeks ago, and even though she didn't really convey to me that she could or maybe articulate that I was there, I just felt that she knew that it was me, and it was such a win because my oldest sister, who was spending a lot of time with her and just seeing her transition, um, it was just a beautiful thing, just watching and just the connection that still existed between me and my mom and my sister and my mom and me and my sister. Of course, we grew close. My bride, who is amazing, she just helped drive me out there. Was just fantastic. But one of the things that I thought was amazing is we're heading out to originally to Joplin, Missouri. They have a RIA out there, and those folks are just so amazing. They were just so quick to say, nope. I was actually on my way to speak to their group, and they were just so quick to say, nope, we get it. You need to be there with your mom. So we turned around. We were in the middle of Illinois on our way to Joplin, and drove to New York. And my mom, during the night at 3 a.m, with just peace and love all around her, with my sister holding her hand, took her last breaths and went to God. And I don't know that I could have sat and thought of a better way for my mom to go. So just really, really beautiful. But of course, during that entire time, and I didn't know that she'd passed, of course, until I got to New York. But the interesting thing was, I was, as I'm talking about today, I was thinking about today's topic about confusing motion for action. And there's so many different things that I would do to look busy when I was really not just trying to be, when I really was just really not being very effective. And of course, couldn't help but think of, all the things that I needed to be doing and, should be doing and everything else. But it was really interesting because as I noticed with all the different businesses that I had going on, um, when you have a very limited time to devote to whatever is going on, or a very limited bandwidth, I'll say, to devote to whatever needed my attention while I was gone, I couldn't confuse motion with action, right? I had to be decisive. I had to say, nope, that needs to be done. That needs to be done. That can wait, right? Like you can triage stuff. And it was really, really interesting because during that time, I was just like, man, I've got this. I am, the time wealthy guy, and preaching this time wealth and having control over my calendar. Now it really comes down to the test when, you have, when you have something like that happen. So, hey, Oscar, good to see you. Um, so it was really interesting because I had to stop and think about this, that, the difference obviously between motion and action is that action produces outcomes, right? Motion really just allows me to hide inside the guise of activity, right? Motion was allowing me to feel productive, like I'm making some sort of progress. But I could do that. I could just be in motion, not really doing anything productive, and there's really no risk of failure, right? And because it just then becomes, well, I can just go out there and do a lot of motion, meaningless activity. But here's the thing: when I had to be focused and was forced, again, whatever thing was showing up for me back when I was, I was in New York. I really didn't have a whole lot of time and bandwidth to spend because I was, grieving the loss of my mom. I was trying to spend time with my sister. I was trying to, um, be intentional and be present. But it was really, really interesting because at that moment in time, I realized that, I had to just be decisive and take action. I couldn't just allow motion to take over my daily activities, right? And it was also funny because I also got thinking about how preparation, if I'm not careful, like you're getting ready to get ready, like those people who are 15 years into their 5-year plan. Oh, I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready to get ready, right? That preparation becomes a form of procrastination. So I had to be really careful about, wait a minute, why am I doing this? Just take action, just do the damn thing, as one of my coaching clients would say. And this is also why it's incredibly important to have a rock solid, obviously clear vision for your future. And I'm talking about a personal vision, not a business vision, right? Remember, I've said this before, when you have a business vision that's created before a personal vision, you end up creating a life that exists to serve the business. Let me say that again. If you have a business vision before you create a personal vision, you end up creating a life that exists to serve your business, where the business should exist to serve your life. So I just thought that, you know, I guess the real true point of this whole thing, the point of the story here is just to make sure that you have a, you're not confusing your, motion for action, and that you can take, I mean, get really clear about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And that way you're not going to have just running around in circles just for the sake of looking busy and having two cell phones to your head and, oh, I'm out there doing the hustle. Oh, let me take a selfie and post it to everybody in the world and let them know how hard I'm working and all that stuff. That doesn't matter. What matters is what you get accomplished. It's the difference between effectiveness versus efficiency. Let me say that again. It's the difference between effectiveness versus efficiency. Remember, efficiency is the default mode of nature, right? It's water is going to run to the top of a hill, to the bottom of a hill, in the most efficient way possible. But what is it the most effective? Is that water most effective to irrigate crops? Or is that water the most effective to channel and turn a turbine? Whatever. But remember, that's the difference between effectiveness versus efficiency. And of course, the difference between motion and action. All right. Well, that's all I have for today, everybody. Again, thank you so much for the well wishes for my mom and my family and everything. I really do appreciate it. You guys have been truly, truly amazing. And it's honestly just humbling the amount of outpouring. And I know as in advance of Mother's Day, this one was a little tougher than most, especially for my family. Please keep my family in your in your prayers. I would really appreciate that. Also, mostly for my sister. She's having a tough go with this. So, but thanks, everybody. Please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. Most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.